Hi souls, welcome to my channel where hobbies go to die. Today we are going to be talking about all the TV shows and movies that I watched for February. I'm going to try to do this without dying because I am still sick. Of course I am getting better, so that's a plus, but I still got some throat issues, so talking for a long period of time is going to hurt. But let's go ahead and get into it. So for TV shows, I haven't really finished anything, but I have started on things. I'm still doing Great British Bake Off. I watch like an episode a day, basically. And I'm loving it still, obviously. But the change in this is my husband had stayed at home at one point and he didn't know what to watch during lunch. So I was like, I'm watching this Bake Off show. We can watch an episode of that. So we did, and now he's hooked. So now I have someone to watch with when he's at work and he's having his lunch break. He watches the show, and then I watch the show during my lunch, and then we talk about it through the rest of the day while he's at work and when he gets home. So that's fun. I love being able to share shows and everything with my husband or with friends or whoever it is that I'm watching with. I love being able to have that communication to talk about the episode we just watched. Speaking of, the Flaniverse watch party has moved on to the Haunting of Bly Manor. We have not finished it. When this posts, I will be watching or have watched episode 5 and 6, and there's 9 episodes in Bly Manor. But I can kind of commentate on it now. I don't like it as much as Haunting on Hill House. And one of the reasons why, one of the main reasons why, is the accents. The accents just feel fake to me. Now, it's going to be funny if some of these accents are actually real. But the actors that were in Haunting of Hill House, they had a different accent back then during that one. And now they have different accents in Bly Manor. So it just throws me off because it just seems like they're not comfortable with the accents while they're acting. So the acting comes off as very awkward to me. So the story itself is interesting, and I'm hooked on that bit, but I'm just kind of pulled away from the story because of the accents. This is the reason why I couldn't do True Blood, because the accents were way too over the top and fake to me for Cajun accents. I've got a lot of family in Louisiana and stuff, so hearing those very, very over the top. I know there's some very hard accents in Louisiana, but after a few episodes, I just could not and stopped True Blood. Who knows? Maybe they'll get more comfortable with their accents as the episodes continue. I actually am starting to focus less on the accents and more on the story. I just finished chapter 3 and 4 recently, and it just seems a little bit more comfortable. So maybe as the episodes progress, the accents will get better and I will have a better view by the end of it overall. We'll see. And then the other show that I have been working on, my husband, brother-in-law, and I put this on when we want like a shorter thing to watch during dinner, is Hazbin Hotel. Now, I forgot their name, but I discovered them through YouTube with Helluva Boss. And Helluva Boss is a adult animation cartoon of imps doing a startup business in hell for assassinating people. It's a wild ride. I love the animations. I love of course, they don't use musicals as much in Helluva Boss, but in Hazbin Hotel, which they were picked up recently by a company in order to be on a streaming service with Hazbin Hotel. The Princess of Hell trying to do a redemption in Hotel to try to help people's souls to get out of hell because there's some issues with hell and heaven as per usual for that sort of thing. There's a lot more musicals in this, and I just absolutely love the mix of musicals and crazy adult cartoons, So I've been enjoying that thoroughly. I think we're on the last episode or the last 2 episodes of that one, so we'll be finished with that one. That one, obviously, I'm gonna give 5 stars for, because I just really love satirical adult cartoons, musicals. It's a wild ride that I am absolutely enjoying, and I'm looking forward to anything else that they may make in the future. That is it for TV shows. So let us move on to movies. We watched 3 movies that I will be talking about in this video because there is one movie that I won't be talking about due to controversy and stuff. I don't want to hurt anyone. We watched it out of nostalgia purposes. That's it. You can probably guess what we watched. But that one aside, we watched 3 other movies, and the first movie was picked by my brother-in-law called Monster in the Closet. It's a 1986 film. Let me go ahead and read the synopsis of that one. I have it written down because I'm using my camera on my phone, so I can't look at my phone here. After a number of mysterious deaths are reported to have taken place in closets, a San Francisco obituary writer is sent to cover the story. He teams up with a local science teacher and her highly intelligent son to try and solve the murders. So I gave this 3 stars. I feel like I was a little generous with the 3 stars. Obviously, based on the synopsis, it's not going to be something serious. Monsters in the closet, you know. But it was on the fine line between bad and so bad it was good. It was quirky and goofy. You know, there were some points of it that I was obviously laughing at, but other points I was just like, groaning at. The characters were very much parody characters to me, whether or not that was intentional. That's what it felt like to me. I was pointing out, this person seems to be like, so-and-so, and that sort of thing. The acting was bad. The practical effects were pretty good. I like the practical effects. So there's that. There's a plus in that. But the acting was pretty bad. I don't know if that's intentional for this kind of movie. I have to be in a certain mood for goofy movies like this. I don't think I was really in the mood for watching one that week. Probably should have done like a 2.5. I don't know if it would be a 2. I don't know. But if you like those kind of goofy kind of movies, maybe give it a watch because it's pretty goofy. I was laughing during moments, so maybe you'll like it better than me. So the next movie that we watched was my pick this turn, is My Bloody Valentine, the remake, the 2009 one. Now, I picked the remake because that's the one I immediately think of. I didn't even realize it was a remake, to be truthfully honest. If you've seen both of them, both the 80s one and the 2009 one, comment down below which one did you prefer. I kind of want to watch the 80s one now that I know there's a remake, and kind of compare. But we're going to focus on the 2009 one this time. I picked My Bloody Valentine because February, Valentine's. I wanted a Valentine holiday-focused movie, and I asked people on Instagram to give me recommendations. Obviously, My Bloody Valentine was the one that got recommended the most. I kind of figured it would, but I was curious to see what other movies are out there. There are other movies that got recommended. Hopefully, I wrote those down, because I kind of want to watch those too at some point. If you don't know what My Bloody Valentine is, I'll read the synopsis. 10 years ago, an inexperienced coal miner named Han Hanniger caused an accident that killed 5 men and put a 6th, Harry Warden, into a coma. A year later, on Valentine's Day, Harry woke up and murdered 22 people with a pickaxe before dying. Now Tom has returned home, still haunted by the past, and something else is back in harmony. A pickaxe-wielding killer in a miner's mask, who may be the ghost of Harry, come to claim Tom and his friends. So Jensen Ackles is the main character in this. I don't normally look up who's acting in it if it's not told to me. So I was shocked to see Jensen Ackles there, because the only character I see Jensen as is Dean Winchester. So I was literally just thinking Dean the entire time while I was watching the movie, and I feel like that kind of maybe ruined it a little bit more for me, or made it better. Because I read on Letterboxd, someone said in the review that it just seemed like a supernatural episode, and I can't unsee that now. I can literally just see this being like a Valentine's holiday special for Supernatural. I gave it a 3.5 stars. It is a pretty good slasher. I'm not expecting something to wow me for a holiday horror, especially a slasher. So for what it was, the slashing scenes for a slasher, they were pretty good. The acting was horrible, which is Also pretty typical for slashers. That's all I really gotta say about it, to be truthfully honest. It was just okay. I think the reason why I gave it 3.5 stars is because I gave Monster in the Closet 3 stars, and it was definitely better than Monster in the Closet. Maybe the 80s one will be better, or maybe it'll be worse, who knows. If I don't have any other Valentine's related horror movies to watch during Valentine's, I would probably watch it again at some point. Probably not immediately a year later, but like in the future, just for fun type of thing. And the last movie that my husband picked was Oppenheimer. He's been wanting to watch this since it came out in theaters, but it's a long movie. It's like 3 hours, and he's more of a history buff than myself and his brother. So I think he just kind of dropped us going to the movie theaters. But he asked us, like, if I picked Oppenheimer, would you watch it? And I said, yeah, sure. So that's what we did. And I'm glad that I did. Even though I'm not a history buff. I mean, I do read history. I do get occasionally curious about history. I want to read more history and learn more about it. But it has to be presented to me in a way that's not going to bore me. And that movie did not bore me. There is a lot of artistic cinematography that was used. It flipped back and forth between black and white and color based on the timeline that we're watching. Not only just because past and present, but also whether or not we're seeing this through the eyes of Oppenheimer versus his rival. I can't remember the name of. Robert Downey Jr. played his rival in the trial. So that was interesting. It also used some artistic visuals for Oppenheimer using his brilliant mind. He's a physicist. I forgot to tell you what the synopsis was, but you should probably know what Oppenheimer is. There was also moments where they use cinematography again for anxiety moments. I really, really loved the way it was filmed. It did get confusing in the beginning because it does bounce around a lot. But once I got used to the bouncing around, I was into it. The acting was also very phenomenal. Like I said, Robert Downey Jr. was in it. He wasn't in a leading, he wasn't in a leading role. Murphy, I forgot his name. I'll put his name up here. Peaky Blinders, that guy. He was Oppenheimer. So I've always liked his acting. I loved his acting in Peaky Blinders. There was just a lot of very good acting, really good cinematography. I just absolutely loved it. I was sitting there asking questions to my husband about the history and stuff. So I would say definitely solid 5 stars if you are into that kind of era, history, really great cinematography, then I would recommend you watch Oppenheimer. And that's it. I struggled throughout this entire thing. I'm obviously going to be cutting out all the struggling and coughing and stuff, but my throat is wrecked. I have a lozenge in my mouth. Hopefully that's not being heard on the mic, but it's time to close this out. I am hoping I will be fully better before the next video because this is a struggle, but I also didn't want to skip a week because I'm stubborn. Next week will be the wrap up of all the books that I read in February. So until then, like, comment, subscribe. Bye, souls. I can't read my own handwriting. Let's start over.